There's much to do around Crawfordsville with our many shops, restaurants, and activities. Thank you for watching and welcome to Crawfordsville.
This time we're at Reclaimed by Grace at their still new location on North Grant Street, just west of downtown Crawfordsville. It's a husband and wife custom woodworking company. Let's go ahead and head inside. This is Travis and Jami Harrington, husband and wife and owners of Reclaimed by Grace. Let's start with Reclaimed by Grace and the name of your business, and where did that come from?
So Reclaim by Grace kind of came to us in just a vision. We are believers and we feel like we've been called to create. And we were headed to a craft fair. We were still working our 9-to-5s, and we were headed to a craft fair to showcase our works. And I sent him a message, what's Reclaim by Grace sound like? And we both were like overcome with emotions, and we knew that was our name. So he went downtown to get t-shirts with Reclaim by Grace on them so we could present ourselves well at this festival, right? He also came home with a building and a storefront.
Yeah. So we went and looked at the building, and it was in pretty dire straits. It needed a lot of work, so we gutted it in 29 days and opened on the 30th and had, our storefront downtown. So we had that for
2+ years.
A little over 2 years.
Yeah, but 2.5 years, and it served us well.
We outgrew it
Quickly.
Very quickly. So I went and got rented a space for a job shop, and then she had the store downtown. So we were split up most of the time.
Yeah, we were. It was unfortunate.
So it was hard to, a lot of running around.
Yeah.
So wasting time.
And 3 sets of bills.
Yeah, that was hard too.
That was real hard.
So at this location on North Green Street, or Grand Avenue, sorry, since January 2020 here, and 3 years total about. But let's go back to the beginning, right around that time when you guys came up with that name, Reclaimed by Grace, and you talked about the 9-to-5 jobs. What were you guys doing at that point in time, and then what sparked that decision to become small business owners and go into woodworking?
Yeah, well,
it went quick.
Yeah, I worked at a machine shop, welding, fabricating, doing the shipping and receiving, and it was just a small business, me, the owner, and his son, and we did a lot of different things. We did military contracts mainly. So I worked there doing that, and you worked at?
I worked with economic development for many years, and I also went to Ford. I was doing their marketing there and some internet sales and such. Really good family to work for, and we just told them, hey, this is what we're going to do, and they were like, we wish you luck. They're small business owners too. I think Ford's been around for 100 years. Yeah. So
we were doing it at night. We were doing it at night. It was taking up
Weekend warriors is what we called it.
Yeah, a lot of time. We started getting a lot of orders.
Lots of orders.
We had to kind of make a decision.
We talked to our mentors, our family, and our friends, and we prayed about it, and it just kind of happened overnight. It was so fast, and we opened that store with 20 things on the wall. It was so silly, but we were sold out. We were sold out the day we opened. We're like, oh, we got to make all this stuff now. Yeah. So it was just so organic. It was such a really good, fresh, new start for us. We felt like we were good at it. We liked it. And when you really love something, you are good at it, So we felt comfortable with it. Yeah. And we just said, this is our life now. So the handicrafted way.
It hasn't been, easy. No. Just being me and her. So when we decided to become a small business, there's a lot more than just making stuff. You got, the whole business side of it. Paying taxes, sales tax, all
customers.
That stuff. People don't understand, there's a lot more than just, putting stuff on the walls and selling it. So it's a whole, she kind of does a lot of that, and I do a lot of the building, and she helps and does a lot of the signs and stuff. So, she kind of runs the office as well as making stuff. So we have to do it that way. So.
as your role as designer, that's your technically your
Yes.
title, right? What goes into that role? What other responsibilities and tasks do you have?
Oh, a lot. We wear many hats around here.
Sure.
So Travis is a kind of a designer too. We bounce ideas off each other. So once we kind of get a feel for what the customer wants, that will help us in the right direction to kind of get a feel for if they want an X style table or if they want a pedestal base or 4 square chunky legs. So once that happens, we kind of get that down on paper in a design fashion with software, or just sometimes a hand rendering is best. Customers really like to see what it's going to look like. We as a whole really like pictures. People like to see a visual. They want to know what it's going to look like. Hence the samples for wood, paint samples, stain samples, and then the rendering for them to have and hold. But with that said, we can actually go into the house and do a spec check. So we can measure out that table at 9 foot and see what it really is going to look like in your space. Is that going to be too big, or is the room going to be swallowed up by this table? So we can go in with a free estimate, step that off, measure that out, and really say, maybe it should be more like an 8.5. Well, you can't buy an 8.5 foot table at the store. They don't offer them. So here at this custom shop, we can offer you whatever measurements you want, however wide or long or tall. We just did a farmhouse dining room table for a very, very tall couple. She's 6 foot, I think he was 6'5". So they didn't want that average 28, 29, 30 in height. They wanted it, I think, 32 or 34. So we can do that here. So there's a lot that goes into that design and kind of just speccing it out for them.
Well, over 3 years, I guess, go into the just that overall journey. What has that been like? What's been some of the trials and what's been some of the triumphs? What sticks out in your mind when you think over the last 3 years?
I would say it's such a rewarding job to make people happy. We were definitely called to create. I am so pleased and blessed and grateful to be part of a community that supports small business like they do us. We were your 2019 Small Business of the Year, so that was a real triumph. Surprise triumph. It was a wonderful feeling to represent a community like that cares about small business. Some backlashes to owning your own businesses, you're really in it. Like, we're really in it now because we live here, we work here, this is everything. So stepping away for dinner sometimes or just a day is very hard for us. But again, that's the sacrifices we have chosen because we do love what we do.
Yeah, you know, you go to dinner or you go to Walmart, people, hey, how's my project coming along? Or
hey,
I got a project for you. You know, there's always,
we're glad.
Yeah, we love it. It's just, you know, you just don't get away from it much. And that's okay. You know, this is what we've decided to do, and what we'll continue to do. You know, it takes 3 to 5 years for a business to really get established. So we're in going into our 3rd year here, July 7th.
Yes.
And you know, I think getting this building was a big triumph for us. We sold our house that we loved and came here to a place that needed a lot of work, and you know, doing everybody else's work and trying to do our own work is challenging, but
not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, it's also rewarding that, you know, we get to come downstairs and see what we've done. So this building was a big move for us.
A huge move. We outgrew that space over on Main Street, which we loved, but we outgrew it very quickly, like Travis shared. So this is just a great space for us, square footage and location-wise. So we're real visible.
And this used to be a business.
A husband and wife
business for 27 years. It was Earthworks, which a lot of people remember. So when we say we're in the old Earthworks building, they know exactly where we're at. So
we love it here.
Neat. It has a good vibe. So
it does have a good vibe in here.
So take us through the process that a customer would go through when they're trying to put together an order and choosing their wood, choosing everything that goes into putting their project together.
So if you come to us and you want a custom sign, we'll talk about font. We'll talk about the face of the wood, so the flat part. We'll talk about if you want a frame or a rope hanger. We'll also talk about what color you want it. Like I was just talking to you about color choices. So you can have stained samples, a paint color, or you can do nude wood, which is really high end. And you can do that in many different fashions. So you could choose your wood. So you want a cherry tone or a walnut tone, or you just want it to mimic that tone. So plenty of options there. Like I said, on the font choice, you can choose how you want that to be displayed. Horizontal or landscape, or vertical or nice square. We do oval cutouts, things like that for signs as well. Now, if you're talking about a table, there's going to be 100 questions here. We have, again, you want to talk about what kind of wood they want, what kind of base they want or legs, tabletop, if it's going to be a live edge, or if it's going to be more of a conventional straight sides. So, and then we ask if you want breadboards or a leaf. Again, lots of options when it comes to dining room tables or furniture. So then we will offer you, if you kind of narrow down, if you want light wood or dark wood, we can send home some wood samples with you. And then you get to look at them in your light and in your space, because everybody comes in here and thinks our walls are white. The shiplap is, but the walls are actually gray. So they're like, I want white like your wall. And it's not, it's gray. So we send them home with samples, even paint samples or stain samples, just to see what works in their space.
We've talked about the various projects and different types of projects that you guys are able to do, the tables and the business signs and home decor and so forth. But you also have a makerspace, and you guys do some teaching. Talk a little bit about that, and also your sawmill as well.
Yeah, so we have a sawmill that, you know, we can kind of go from tree to table with. You know, whether it's your log or a log that we've provided, or that somebody's either sold us or gave us, you know, it goes down to the sawmill and gets cut into slabs or dimensional lumber, as we call it, where there's no live edge on each side, and then it goes from there to sit and dry. It air dries for, you know, 6 months to a year before it ever hits a kiln, which dries the lumber down to the right percentage of moisture. So, you know, going from tree to table, it's a process. It's not just, hey, I got a tree and I want to build a table out of it, let's, you know, get it done. There's just it's a long process to do that. So the makerspace typically has been a lot of making signs, different signs and whatnot. We'll have different templates, but we're talking about doing some epoxy classes with, I know everybody's seen river tables and everything. Well, you can make coasters to cutting boards with epoxy on them. They're really neat, and so we're going to try to get into some of that. I've been in talks with a couple epoxy companies that and I went down actually to Atlanta and did a class on that, and it was really neat. But we're also going to, maybe if I can figure out how to get it streamlined where people don't have to cut their own material, where we can do cutting boards or charcuterie boards, where you pick the board and you finish it and do all those and take it home. You know, we're working on that now too.
I had called and inquired, actually went downtown to their shop when they were there and asked about, I had a wash tub, I wanted a special top for it. They jumped right in, they did a great job, they brought it to me, which you don't get that service everywhere, I tell you. And just being around them, they both make you want to be better people, so it's just a joy to come here, and I love their new space.
You talked about earlier, you told us that this was rewarding for you. What is rewarding about it? What's a rewarding day for you, or a rewarding project? What brings you fulfillment?
Seriously, just making people happy, interacting with people. We're both people. Is that how you say that? We really enjoy the interaction of our customers. To be honest, most of them are just turned friends. We have a big group of people that have been repeat customers and referred people to us on a business level for business signs, or on a personal level for home furnishings. So just interacting with people makes us very happy. But when you make something with your own hands, again, a sign or a shelf or a dining room table, bookshelf, that is one of the most fulfilling things. And when that customer leaves our door with that piece, just as happy as we were when we made it, that makes you feel like you've just conquered the world. Even if it's a $30 sign, if they gift it or they keep it, it makes you very happy to know you're a part of that special gift or special piece that will hang on their wall forever.
And how can people find you if people are wanting to find some of the new things that you guys are doing, keep up with what you guys are offering? Where can they find you?
So you can find us on Instagram at Reclaim by Grace Designs. or Facebook, which is Reclaimed by Grace, or our website. We do update our website. Maybe not as much as we should, but we do update it. So Facebook and Instagram are our big go-to as far as seeing the current project we're working on. Or you can call in, 376-3300 is her number, and she'll help you get your project going, Her Instagram is, like I said, Reclaimed by Grace Designs, and I have an Instagram, Travis Harrington, which I show a lot of the making of the projects, and then she shows a lot of the finished projects. So
for anyone who may be thinking about starting their own business and looking for a little bit of advice, I guess when you think back to those trials and triumphs and the good and the bad, what would be some words of wisdom, words of advice that you may give them?
Well, I would say if you are thinking about starting a business and you have a good kind of a good foundation to just jump in and do it. A lot of people, they second guess themselves and they want to keep doing it on the weekends or keep doing it in the evenings, and they just get burned out or wore out, and then they end up not doing it. So I would say, if you're completely devoted to it and you think that your business is gonna be successful, then you just got to jump in and do it.
I'm glad we did it quick because I'm not a jumper inner at all. I'm not a risk taker.
And we didn't have little kids at home.
We don't.
And I understand, that would be hard
it would be very hard.
But we took a chance, and so far it's paying off.
The lights are on today. I would say my piece of advice would be to really gather a few mentors, other like businesses or people that have ran their own business and operated under customer service and the back end of books and websites, and you're in everything. You're the janitor, you're the marketing manager, you're everything, and we make everything, so we add a few things to that. So I say a good core group of business owners to fall back on for advice and direction and guidance, and pray about it.
Absolutely. Yep. Find a guy or gal that's been in business for
or
20 years,
Yeah.
We have
a
few
few
that we kind of leaned on heavily when we started. We sat down, had lunch with them, talked about different buildings and whatnot, and
yes,
why would that be a good building, or why would that not be a good building?
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah. Are you ready to move? Kind of thing. It was
we
had a lot of tough conversations.
And not fun conversations, because we do not want anyone to dance around the bush for us. We want the truth. We want the nitty gritty, because that's how real life is. Yeah.
So don't want to be faced with anything that be prepared.
Yes.
That still happens. That's okay though. Learning from your mistakes or learning from your any sort of situation that you can learn from. I mean, that just makes you grow, and that's what we're doing, is continuing to grow.
You can't be weak-hearted, or it's
or emotional.
You got to try to keep your emotions out of it, and just plug along. And sometimes you're gonna build something and maybe somebody doesn't like it, or maybe it's not what they thought, and you gotta roll with the punches. And
that helps us learn to ask the correct questions, and a lot of them. So when you come here for an order, I don't care if it's a $30 sign or a $3,000 island, you're gonna get a array of questions, because at the end of the day, I want to get in your head and your wants, wishes, and needs.
Yep. So.